get ready to enter the vortex. Starring Vandita.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Anal Retentive Housewife. You'll see today we have a new timer that is fashion coordinated with my outfit. And what this will do is actually tell me the elapsed time of my show, so I don't keep running over and blabbing on and on. Alright, let's get to the topic of our show, which is dryer lint. Lint is a four-letter word that we do not like to talk about in this household, but lint happens. So, first things first, here's a dryer. We're going to work the inside out. So, dryer here. This is the lint screen. Now, what you want to do after a drying cycle is take the dryer sheet and just use it to scrape around. Occasionally, though, that's not going to be enough. And what you really need to do is take this and scrub it with a dishwashing sponge and some soap. Dishwashing liquid is fine. But now that this is clean, we kind of can tell that it's really kind of dirty in here. And we don't want to put something clean into something that's dirty. That's sort of a no-no. And at the same time, we can also notice sometimes there's a lint buildup around this thing. So I took this out and I washed it as well because the lint can collect here. And the whole reason for being this careful about lint is that lint is a fire hazard in your dryer. And I went through a lot of training and information to get my ducting system cleaned from the dryer to the outside. And I had to have that changed out, and luckily the dryer shorted out, otherwise I could have had a fire in my house. And that would have been a bad thing. Okay, so our first tool is a vacuum canister compressed gas duster. Now you can buy these in packs of 6 at a warehouse store or in single packs at a very high price at a electronic goods store. So all we do is take this and just sort of dust around here, and we take this and we point it inside where the lint screen would go. So, having done that, we're going to say, wait a minute, that's not quite good enough, at least not by my standards. So what I've done is I've taken the liberty of unscrewing things on the dryer door using, what are these called, the 4-star things?
Phillips head screwdriver.
Phillips head screwdriver. And this is what?
Flat screwdriver.
Flat screwdriver. Okay, I call this 4 and 2. Anyway, don't be afraid to use screwdrivers, ladies. They're really quite handy, and look, all of mine match, and they're also ergonomically correct. So anyway, so I already unscrewed the door here. What I'm going to do or not, I plan each show so carefully, and yet something always goes awry. Oh, I think I need to undo this one too. And here's a helpful tip for everybody out there. Turn off the power before you unscrew. The dryer door is okay, but what I had wanted to do, and what I have done in the past, is remove the entire front panel And when you do that, if you take off the screws that are here, and this is actually a Maytag dryer and washer system, and the whole point of buying the Maytag is not that they don't break down any less frequently, but when and if they do, it's a lot easier to get into the system and fix it. At least that's what I've been told by service professionals. Anyway, so yeah, have it power off. Otherwise, when I was unscrewing it originally, like about 2 years ago, I sort of felt a little charge, like bzzz, and that was kind of sort of bad. So you don't want to, pull one of those. I'm not very good around electrical equipment, actually. But I do keep trying, and I always learn from my experiences. And I'll have to apologize to the audience for the ambient noise. This is in the garage, which does face the street, and so it does get a little noisy, although not too bad for a Saturday afternoon. All right. Anyway, so take these out, put these here, and now it doesn't look too bad if you can see in here. So all we're going to do is just take the duster, and if you really want to take it all out, you have to undo the screws on this side also. But the dust really collects at the bottom here. That's kind of where you want to concentrate as far as the door is concerned. Okay, but now since we're not going to undo the door assembly system, we have to get in here and really clean it. Because if our clothes don't dry properly, we're just going to look bad when we go out, and we don't want to do that. So this is one of those electric static dusters. You can buy a whole set of 3, like the small one, and this one, and then a bigger one. And all you do is stick it in. And mostly what you're trying to do, because this will go out to the venting, is to loosen things up a little bit so that they do go out the next time you use your dryer.
Kind of like a nice bowl of cereal in the morning.
Yeah. The show's title, unfortunately or fortunately, inevitably lends itself to jokes of that nature, and I'm all for that. So, and actually this works really, really well to do this.
Now, did you get the part down, like here? Angle it in this way.
There's no angling that way.
Okay, you can't angle it that way? All right.
And,
Wow.
whoa, lots of dust. I brushed my case. And again, you shake these out, they stay pretty clean.
Could you shake that again? Okay, thank you.
God, so vulgar. I've also purchased a few brushes from that catalog by that other woman who claims to be, queen of the household, Martha. We'll talk more about Martha in a few minutes. But I did get this computer duster brush from her, and it's really quite lovely with a wooden handle and things. And what this does is you can get these little nooks and crannies in here, and sort of just really work the brush in there. Similar with this, if you don't want to take the time and trouble to do the whole thing, and you can just use this kind of brush. Like that. And so then you can just brush that off. And then I also got this thing from her catalog. Most of the stuff from her catalog.
Sure you didn't get that from her cat?
Most of the stuff from her catalog's crap, but it's very overpriced. And while these items were somewhat overpriced, I did feel and sense the value that these items would have in my everyday life. So, you do, stick it in, and it'll get into those nooks and crannies. And see, we even get more dust out with this thing. And just wipe it off like that. And so we need to reassemble the work here, but first we need to actually wipe things down. So for the garage, I keep these handy terry reinforced wiper things, which you can usually buy. I usually get these at Osh, but Osh doesn't sell them all the time. So if you see them in the stores, stock up. I have like 4 or 5 myself in stock just so I have them. And these are really quite good. They're very durable. They're great for wiping the floor in the garage, and I do like to mop the floor in my garage as well as in my house. So get one of these, and basically any cleaner on this kind of enamel surface is okay. I'm just using Windex for what it's worth. If you 409 works as well. Whatever the cleaner du jour happens to be. And all we're doing now is, we got rid of a lot of the dust balls and dust bunnies and things, but we haven't actually gotten rid of the dust, the dirt, and the grit that accompanies dust. So clean inside the handle here. And were I to undo the whole thing, I'd also clean inside. But like I said, it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty impressed. I haven't actually cleaned the dryer door in close to 2 years. And so that being the case, it's not too bad. Anyway, so you're just wiping down all the surfaces. And I'm going to do that in here too. Now this part's a little harder because I think this assembly can come out, but I'm not going to do it. And wipe the front. There's no reason, just because your dryer and washer happen to be in the garage or in your bonus laundry room or in your basement, although nobody has a basement in California, there's no reason that these parts of your house that are traditionally overlooked for cleaning and organizing shouldn't be clean and organized. Everything should be clean and organized. I mean, why do people keep their very expensive golf clubs out in the garage? I mean, it's like if you pay for it, you should keep them in a nice, clean, sanitary environment. And if you have a nice car, why do you keep it in a dirty garage? Or like my parents, they always wanted to finish their garage, so they did, but there's only 2 of them, so now they end up parking their cars outside. Although, my mother just got a new car, and now she parks them on the carpeting in their finished garage. So, go figure. I guess everybody's parents do weird things like that. It's only the 2 of them in their house, and yet...
Before you do that, make sure, is that thing below, does that need to go in before? I would do that one first, before you tighten the top one. That way you know that's in place.
Good thinking, Ray. It's hard to screw things in when you're doing it backwards. You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
You have to learn how to screw the right way. But I digress. Anyway, we're not talking about anything terribly complicated here. Like I said, this isn't something you want to do every day. I just wanted to point out some of the, the dangers. And if you notice your clothes not getting dry very well, or, there just seems to be more and more lint, that's usually a good sign that there's blockage somewhere from your dryer dryer to the outside world. And it's always a good idea to have a professional looking at it. And that does not include somebody like me. What you do need to know when you're working around the house and on household projects is that you have to sort of know when to step back and let the experts take care of it. And I definitely have learned my lesson on that type of thing many a time when I try to fix something, and I learn from it. As long as you realize that when you do it yourself, it's a learning experience. But if you really want it done, have an expert in there doing it, and you can hang out and watch them. There's nothing wrong with that. You can talk to them. You can always learn stuff from them.
Now is the thing where it closes there, is that in tight? Because it was wiggling before. I don't know, maybe it's supposed to wiggle a little in and out. I mean, is the screw definitely locking in? The screw should definitely get tight. Did the screw get tight, or is it still
It's
spinning?
tight.
Okay.
I need to fix it. But anyway, I'll do that later. So, we put this back in nice and clean. And this is actually very easy to put back in too. And very easy to take out. What I also do, because of the dirt that can collect, I put the part that's not together up at the top. It just, otherwise in that crack of space, that's what allows the dirt to get in to this interior part of the door.
I see, and as the dust tends to go down, you want to put the brake at the top?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, this goes in like this, and so on. But, actually, I don't want to do this right now. I want to point out something else to you that you should always be mindful of when cleaning the dryer. And that is that you're not only cleaning the dryer, the front, I know, there's that extra thing that I need to fix. You're not just cleaning the outside. What I like to do is I like to move the dryer from its location and clean in the back, because there's a lot of little dust bunnies that sort of collect from the back. As I was saying, what we need to do is clean the top and also to clean behind the dryer where the dust bunnies do collect. And the dryer is actually very light. The difficult object that you have to move, and the heavier one, is the washer, but I do that too. And I do it by myself without the help of anybody or anything. So that being said, all we're going to do is put away some of our stuff. We have the broom handy, ready to go. And I'll just move this over here. Okay. You want to make sure you're wearing shoes that are non-skid. I've made the mistake of wearing penny loafers and having a very ungracious fall to the floor. So, you're just going to grab it like this. And, sorry, I need to get positioned. Now we're going to take our broom, and I realize you can't really see behind the dryer, but when I got the cobwebs that are behind here, any dirt that might have accumulated between your washer and your dryer, and you don't want to move the dryer out too far, otherwise what's going to happen is you'll break your little dryer coil. So, I'm just going to broom here. And
You mean the little, the vent? The duct?
The vent coil, the ducting.
The ducting, okay. Now, should you undo that ducting and maybe clean out just the end from the dryer to...
If you'd like, you can. You should also replace the ducting that goes from the dryer to the wall periodically.
Okay, and why is that?
Why is that? Because it wears out, and because it's not a smooth surface. It's actually coiled, so it's striated, so objects can collect in there. Again, if you think of everything like even being a doctor, sort of being a mechanic, and you know, all you're doing when the pipes get clogged, and a heart surgeon, all he's basically doing is cleaning out the clogs and or dealing with the results of the clogs that weren't clean. So, and you should always move it at least as far out as the depth of the dryer. And you can see that there is indeed lint that was collected back there. And I think you pointed out an excellent idea, and I do want to show the ducting.
So I move the camera to bring it around?
No, I'm just going to undo it on one side, and then we can see it. And actually, no, I don't need to move it. I can show you my spare that I keep. I have a spare of just about everything. This way, I don't need to run to any of the, home improvement stores to get something. I have it right here to fix something instantly. So there's no excuse of, well, I gotta run to the store and get it. See. That was awkward. Okay. Closed dryer transition duct is the official name. It's flexible, fire-resistant aluminum foil ducting. And what it basically looks like. Sorry about that. A slinky. Slinky. For fun, it's a wonderful toy. Slinky. It's fun for a girl and a boy. Do you remember that from the 70s?
I wasn't around in the 70s.
So, this is it, and again, you should periodically replace this. Mine's still looking pretty good, but if it really gets dust covered, I have this new one and I can just replace it. I do recommend keeping a spare because sometimes there's a run on ducting for some unknown reason.
Probably because of people like you hoarding dryer ducting for like the next World War or something.
I am not hoarding dryer ducting, and I resent the implication. And you also want to get a high quality adjustable, what do you call this thing?
I think it's a hose
Adjustable clamp.
Okay.
The ones that the previous owner had were these little cheapio ones that just, it was like sort of like a little cross ring. But this has the screw on it which allows you to really put it on tight. And if you like also you can wash these and gut it on the inside, but I've decided not to do the washing anymore, just simply to replace it. Let's see, what else do we need to do? So yeah, so this is great. I keep it on hand. Everybody should do that. So, that is that. But you can see in the coils how dust would collect in there and how it could potentially be a fire hazard. And I should know because I'm a member of the Community Emergency Response Team to mobilize and help my neighborhood in the event of a fire or other natural or man-made disaster. So you want to get all this dust out. And I think sorry about that. smack dab next to each other, because it just makes for a better visual presentation of your washer and dryer area. And so, similarly, we want to keep the washer in just as good a condition as the dryer. Now, opening up the washer, you want to keep this little doodad clean, and I think this is supposed to be for liquid detergent or for bleach or something. I don't know. I never use it. All I know is little things of dust and hair collecting here. So you want to keep that clean. You also want to wipe the lid and around the lid and underneath. And you're going to pull this same thing out just like you did with the dryer and clean underneath it. Real quickly, since we are almost at the end of our show, and I do hope that you learned something today. We didn't have a lot of humorous situations other than those in your own imagination. So, but maybe you learned really something valuable and practical here. I do want to explain, here is my washing area, and I keep my detergent in a trash can that's lined. Why do I do that? Just so it's easy to lift in and out. Also allows me to keep things pretty organized here. I have my dryer sheets here. Keep spares of everything in here, as well as in the cabinets, but most of these are for other shows that are up and coming. Did you have any questions, cameraman, or was this pretty self-explanatory?
It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm still interested in how you're going to get that rubber seal back in the dryer. That looked to me to be a little complicated, but...
Oh, not at all, and in fact, why don't we just do that as the last few minutes of the show?
How about as the last 30 seconds of the show, since that's all we have left?
Okay, it's really easy. You take the thicker part, and I can only speak for my own brand of washer and dryer. Put it on one of these little grooves. Of course, now I can't do it.
Well, your time is up. Maybe you should close things out. Looks like the cameraman will be putting the rubber seal back in the dryer after the show.
It's very easy. You just put it in and it just goes in, okay? It's not that hard, and I was caught a little off guard, and that's why I don't know it. Anyway, it's the end of another show. I'm the Anal Retentive Housewife, saying it's not just a show, it's a way of life. Thanks. See you next time.